Join Time Magazine's lead education reporter alongside global educators and advocates to explore the impacts of teaching forgiveness.
I teach forgiveness because it can have a positive impact in my students' families.
It helps my students thrive in the face of adversity.
Students who can forgive are happier.
Join us to hear from teachers and thought leaders on how and why to include forgiveness in your classroom.
Temperature rise will bring widespread devastation and unprecedented extreme weather.
New coronavirus cases emerge across the country.
Obesity rates have more than doubled in kids.
Cape Town is running out of water.
Hello, my name is Silvia Scuracchio, Principal and Head of Innovation at the Escola Bosque, here in São Paulo, Brazil. First of all, I want to thank all of you attending this event. I want to give a special thanks to Vika Spota, Kirsten Thompson, and their team for this excellent initiative. As an international event, the main language is English, but you can find many subtitles on Teams. E para aqueles que falam português, nós teremos a tradução simultânea também no menu do Teams. I want to express my gratitude for our amazing team, teachers, coordinators, IT, TE, for the incredible job and for being so passionate about education, so dedicated, and for their willingness to learn new things. This year, Global Education Week theme is School Celebration, and we are happy to share with all of you our projects, students, and teachers' achievements. This year, we are also celebrating our school's 50th year anniversary, an important milestone in our history. Escola Bosque is an institution that is always innovating, and despite its age, still young and modern, applying the newest and the best pedagogical practices. Everything we do at the Escola Bosque is around our school mission, which is to develop the whole child, foster its students' well-being as a foundation for academic and life success, and provide them with experiences to be more empathetic, engaged, collaborative, and passion-driven learners. We are student-centered. We have a strong social-emotional learning program, and we foster inclusivity. We are an eco school, an UNESCO-associated school. We are Teach SDG ambassadors and part of the WET project. Therefore, we address many environment and real-world issues with our students. We are living in an ever-changing world, and since the pandemic, we are experiencing a revolution that is transforming the way we work, learn, and relate to each other. Everything converges in an increasing volatile, complex, and ambiguous world. This new world, call it VUCA, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, must reflect the new ways we have to think about education. And it's leading us to see education in different perspectives. Some are calling the hybrid education digital teaching. For sure, we have many things to learn, reflect from the pandemic. We all know the K-12 curriculum, the Common Core, but we can approach the content in a different way, bringing the real world to the classroom. As an UNESCO-associated school, we also promote the UN and UNESCO International Years and Decades. Our students understand their role to promote changes for a better world, how they can shape a sustainable future for all. Education is the most powerful way to transform the world, and schools play a major role in shifting mindsets in their communities, empowering students to take actions, and inspiring their families. We also know the importance of the social-emotional skills. Children must learn how to work collaboratively, be empathetic, be good leaders, understand and respect others, among many other 21st century skills. Social and emotional learning is a teaching method that guides students on how to understand and manage their emotions in a healthy and productive manner. It provides students with the knowledge and skills to comprehend their feelings, demonstrate empathy, and make wise decisions. More than just teach the Common Core, our role as educators is to bring awareness and reflection about what we can do to create this new reality. Modern pedagogical practices must contemplate sections like building social emotional skills, understanding the world, celebrating diversity, creating a peaceful and sustainable environment. And with the pandemic, we lived unprecedented times, but it was an amazing opportunity to learn, rethink, and innovate. Here in Brazil, we remained in remote learning for almost a year. We resumed our in-person classes in February this year. Now we have most of our students at school. When we started the remote learning, our goal was to keep students learning, for sure, but mainly foster and supporting positive mental health for them, their parents, and even for our staff. Now, our teacher Leandro will share some of the projects we are developing and present the most important celebration of all. Thank you.
Celebration. Celebrating with joy. This is for sure the best definition for such a short word when writing, but with a huge meaning in people's lives lately. Celebrating has been for many a moment of self-knowledge, hope, and freedom. These values are part of school life in its responsibility to form a thinking, critical, and social individual. Do this, Escola Bosque celebrates at each of the school cycle closing. And it's here that witness the germinating, growing, and blossoming of each student on their journey through life. Check out with us this beautiful journey produced in 3 acts with the main projects developed by the large group of educators from Escola Bosque, who dedicated their lives to promote quality education for future generations. Every year, we receive social newborns in our school, and our role is to take care of their integral development. At this stage, the construction of identity and autonomy become essential for the development of aspects such as socialization, ethics, reasoning, skills, abilities, and emotions. Child's food and nutrition are basic requirements for the promotion and protection of health, enabling the full affirmation of the potential for human growth and development, which qualify the life and citizenship. At this point, the kids are still creating your eating habits, and they should be encouraged to participate in the act of eating. The concern with the quality of food for the little ones is fundamental, as it directly impacts the child's physical and cognitive development, and therefore, this topic is addressed in practically all areas at school throughout students' entire trajectory at Escola Bosque. Students grow up enjoying and experiencing new flavors as they learn the health benefits that good nutrition brings to their lives. Childhood is the time when we assimilate new things the most. At this point, we also acquire lessons that we will take with us for the rest of our lives. By teaching oral and body hygiene habits from an early age, they become easier to be part of the child's routine, and it lasts until the adulthood. Brushing teeth is something that children should be taught as early as possible, so that it becomes a habit in their lives, and our role as educators is to encourage this habit in children in a didactic and attractive way. Here, the students promoted a presentation on oral hygiene for their younger peers and kindergarten. A very relaxed, interactive, and definitely a lot of learning time for everyone. The road to success is paved with fun. When playing, kids learn how to live together and favoring the development of self-confidence, curiosity, autonomy, language, and thought. When playing, children can develop some important skills such as attention, imitation, memory, and imagination. The use of mindfulness practices in educational settings has become increasingly common throughout the world. They help students improve their attention in class, better regulate their emotions, and acquire greater skill in social interrelationships. Introducing the topic of recycling since the early years is a way of sensitizing children about caring for the environment. Through awareness-raising actions, it is possible to attract the eyes of children to the issue, so they develop knowledge and environmental awareness. A great option for that is working with recycling, which allows the discovery and the reuse of the residues as a raw material. Here, we have an example of Gymkhana promoted in the physical education class, using recycled materials. Children's financial education serves to teach little ones that resources are scarce and must be managed. This premise gives them scope to teach them how to deal with frustrations and planning. In this example, we can see the constructions of a mini market in which students should consciously shop and learn how to handle money. Another ally of pedagogical practice is the use of games in education, which provides motivating learning scenarios mediated by challenge and entertainment. Technology classes play a key role in the 21st century skills development process. From the early years of school life, students are exposed to digital tools and encouraged to work collaboratively. Here, the children created their recyclable waste baskets, identifying the disposal of inputs in their respective colors. We have the responsibility to build the bridge connecting children to the world where they live. During this period, most part of students are, for the first time, introduced to people who are completely different from them and their families. Thus, it's very important that the school works at this stage come with good values and methodologies, always respecting different beliefs and characteristics so that students can do the same with their peers. In this process, we value aspects such as understanding the environment around the student, using different types of language, improving body awareness, developing communication, social skills, and building personal identity. Building self-esteem, self-knowledge, and valuing one's own culture, that acceptance of the other starts to happen naturally, thus contributing to the recognition of the individual and his or her place in society. It is expanding the concept of yourself in the world as well as your responsibilities towards your actions, that it promotes reflection on respect for yourself, other human beings, and the environment that surrounds them. Talking about the rights and duties of children, the main goal is to ensure a happy, healthy life in which they will have opportunities to develop and prepare themselves to be active citizens in the society where they live in, aiming for a fairer society and building a better world. And when it's about a better world in the future, you can see that the concern for the environment is a topic addressed with all the seriousness that it should be, and as I said, it runs throughout the student school period at Skolobosky. Students produce from selected garbage collection stations to firefighting system programming with Minecraft. Aiming to fulfill the 2030 agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals, the third grade students developed the project Embrace the Environment. No one better to represent this project than one of the most charismatic primates in the Americas, the muriqui. This monkey is known for the peculiarity of their species to live it practically embrace it with each other, and they recognize their leader by the fact that the alpha male is the one who receives the most hugs from the group. A demonstration of affection and life in a harmonious society like that is to envy any human being. In this project, a tree was produced from recycled material, and on it, cards with motivational and affectionate messages, representing the Muriki's embrace. The students chose a card, and when they read the messages, they were receiving a virtual hug from the Muriki monkey. Later, the students could pass on the virtual hug to their families at home in order to promote a chain reaction to demonstrate affection, in addition to drawing attention to the risk of extinction of this species in Brazilian forests. Another beautiful project developed by the 4th grade students was Discover São Paulo, meeting the goal 6 of the 23rd Agenda. One approach was to get to know the state of São Paulo through a trip along the Tietê River, the longest river in the state. On this trip, the students came to understand the impacts of man on nature and his contribution to the pollution of the environment over time. For the development of the project, the students used the Microsoft Word tool in collaborative mode to make research about the subject. The students produced a video with the music feature to explain the river's pollution process over the years, and at the end of the presentation, they brought possible solutions to promote the river's depollution and thus bring life back to the river ecosystem. Physical education classes, the activities gained regional tones. Typical games from each region of São Paulo were presented to the group so that they could experience this moment. Once again, games as a learning tool. Social-emotional activities aim to nurture effective bonds between students and teachers, strengthen the feeling of belonging to a group, and reinvigorate students' interest in education. In this activity with Flipgrid, students made statements in breaking news way of presentation, telling the viewers about what makes them happy and motivated in their daily lives. Healthy eating habit was presented again, and this time it was addressed to English classes. In this activity, the students learned the importance of having a balanced diet in order to promote a better use of nutrients each meal. To end up the approach of the topic, gamification brought students even closer to the conscious consumptions of food, in addition to promoting greater interaction and autonomy for children, as they took place as protagonists in the activity. Working with games in class allows us to overcome the physical barriers of the school, since remote learning provides this type of dynamic in the hybrid class model, promoting greater interaction among students. Art, as a way of expressing our worldview, gives us the opportunity to do a self-analysis on how we are seeing ourselves in all aspects of life. In this art activity, students produce their eating habits through the production of drawings. Here, they use different techniques to recreate works by renowned artists. Helping students taking care of the emotional and psychological well-being is also one of the roles of education. To achieve these results, there is nothing better than talking about mental health at school. In this activity, students address the topic showing the importance of exercising the mind to promote a healthy environment for interpersonal interaction. Talking about well-being, there's nothing better than music to dictate the soundtrack of feelings. The power of music in promoting people's well-being was the theme of the podcast created by the 5th grade students in the music classes, a moment of great relaxation and emotion for all. The final years of elementary school are the most important and striking in children's school life, representing a change not only in cycles, but in the moment in their lives. And this transition between childhood and adolescence, the students need to develop complex skills and abilities, and it provides excellent opportunities for educators to improve their pedagogical practices, making it possible to explore and develop social emotional skills, critical sense, and preparation for high school. The benefits of reading are numerous, and they don't act on our brains only in the present moment. Studies show that reading can be a way to protect our mind against the emergence of neurodegenerative disease. So, it provided a study on the impact of different types of stimuli in the functioning of the human brain during the Portuguese classes. What happens to it when we appreciate art, or when we listen to music, or when we are reading books, or even when we are thinking about something? To explain these events, the students studied the functioning of synapses in the science classes and made a neuron with cracks. In math classes, they produced graphs to quantify the number of books read during 2021, considering the sample of students present in the classroom. They created a game in technology classes whose objective was to make the brain deviate from the TV sets that appeared on the screen to prevent it from reaching the final objective that it was reading the book. To expand the theme and meet goal 14 of the 23rd agenda, the students conducted a survey on the smartest marine animals. This project was presented through the Draw My Life activity, in which students brought curiosities about these animals in a storytelling mode. Digital tools such as Word in collaborative mode, the Teams itself to carry out the meetings between in-person and online students, and video editing tools were used to perform the task. Here, we have a demonstration of the work done by the 6th grade students about the penguin and its great communication skills. In this way, the students were led to have a closer look at issues such as ocean pollution and the marine animals trafficking in geography classes. They produced a sway with all the research done. Another concern of the school is about solidarity actions, and we are a reference at this regard. This year, Escola Bosque promoted a campaign to collect toys, clothes, groceries, and partnered with a former student who founded an NGO called Com Fé na Mesa that attends homeless in São Paulo. The campaign mobilized the entire school community, and the participation of families was essential for its success. Social emotional activities are gaining more and more strength in the daily basis of schools, and with the help of technology, we manage to get closer to the language of young people. In robotics, students reproduced emoticons to represent their mood using the microbeat. Using brain breaks helps improve students' focus and attention. These activities provide a great opportunity for students to work on coordination, flexibility, and body and spatial awareness while having fun. To wrap up this topic, it was possible to show students the damage that can occur to the brain when suffering physical impacts, such as those that happens in a contact sport, through hacking STEM activities. Concerning about the environment and building a better world is intensified during elementary school, and 7th grade students were able to express themselves about their worldview, using the Padlet platform to talk about their actions in order to preserve the environment. They demonstrated care for the nature, creating terrariums in science classes. Using Scratch, they produced interactive maps about the wild animal trafficking in Brazil. In English classes, they created posters describing the wild animals that most identify themselves using the PowerPoint tool in collaborative mode. After the production of the posters, they were able to express how they saw these animals by creating drawings in Paint 3D, making statements about the activities done. In art classes, they were able to use elements from nature to apply the technique of artistic production with leaves and sticks. In physical education, they had the experience of practicing natural gymnastics, activity that consists of performing physical exercise imitating the movement of animals. In order to carry out the activity, yoga and jiu-jitsu movements are used, and students have to deal with supporting their own body weight. Integration between teaching platforms through gamification allows for greater versatility in classes, in addition to promoting more interaction and protagonism for students. One of the paths to approach the theme of extinction of wild animals was the production of infographics. Students were able to describe the reasons why each of the species is in danger of extinction. The 8th grade students addressed the refugee theme and began their research by presenting graphs in Excel. In honor of the Yellow September campaign, the students wrote motivational messages to refugees from all over the world on the Padlet. Using the immersive minds in Minecraft, the students created the refugee concentration camp scenarios to get a sense of what happens to the people who live in the conflict zones. Poetry was presented in this Portuguese activity, in which students created and declaimed poems to portray the reality of refugees around the world. To illustrate the topic discussed, the students interviewed an employee at the Escola Bosque, who is a refugee from Cameroon. It was a moment of great emotion and reflection, with the testimony of this woman who came alone to seek asylum in Brazil, as an opportunity to change her life completely. Closing the theme, the students produced a music video based on a video clip, My Scream, which portrays suffering and the relentless search for dignity and recognition of their human rights. The topic addressed by the 9th grade students was climate change and the elaboration of possible solutions to reduce the impact of man on this phenomenon. With the construction of graphics and programming from scratch, the students illustrated the number of countries that contribute most negatively to the increasing of the global warming. They produced podcasts discussing the importance of thinking about renewable energy production. And in an interdisciplinary way, involving the subjects of math, science, geography, and robotics, the students created charts that pointed out the emission of CO2 into the atmosphere, deforestation of the Amazon forest, temperature variation of the planet, and the thawing of polar ice caps. Parody as a cultural manifestation was used so that students could express their views of the negative actions of man in the environment. Here, we have a demonstration of a parody made by a student using her own avatar to sing a version of Bruno Mars songs, Talking to the Moon. She explained about the deforestation of the Amazon rainforest. We faithfully believe that knowledge is capable of transforming a life, and we have a duty to provide an environment that promotes this transformation. And thinking about it, that the B2 project was born, 2 Minutes with Bosque. B2 is a permanent project for the 9th grade students in which they work on a rotating basis. This is the second year of B2 at the Escola Bosque. The entire preparation of the newspaper is done by the students themselves, from the discussions of the agenda to the recording and editing process. For this, we make the meeting through the Teams and work simultaneously with the Word and PowerPoint tools in a collaborative mode, so create the script and art to be presented in the edition. In some moments, we use Flipgrid to produce videos of testimonials or interviews, and we culminate everything in the editing process using Microsoft Photos application. The first edition of B2 began in person in February of 2020, but with the pandemic, we feared that it would not be possible to continue the project due to the situation the world was in. However, the use of technology made students motivated during this period to produce the newspaper 100% online. At the Global Connection 2020 event, the students prepared a special live with Microsoft Executive Vice President Judson Althoff, with an interview about his professional life and his personal relationship with education, once his mother was also a teacher. It was a very special and touching moment to everyone attending the event. The repercussion of this interview was so remarkable that it earned our school a special thanks from Mr. Althoff on the Microsoft Education page on Facebook, which made us even more proud to be part of this wonderful team of educators. And these were some of the projects developed at our school here in Brazil. I hope you have enjoyed watching and that these projects can be an inspiration to other schools around the world that are concerned with offering future generations a quality education, valuing human relationships, and the well-being of each of us. Thank you for watching. Before we continue with our principal presentation, I'd like to thank the two people who made and make all these projects possible to be carried out. Our pedagogical coordinators Fátima Queiroz and Susana Moura. My special thank you for all of your support and partnership on this journey.
Hello! It's a pleasure to participate one more time in such amazing event like this. I hope you have enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.
It's fantastic to be part of the process in our students' learning. I would like to thank the team of teachers, and I hope you have enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.
Hello. Now I will explain the 5 takeaways, what we have learned and what schools and educators can do to achieve the same success. First, the importance of the social-emotional dimension, not only for students, but for teachers too. We are living challenging times. Fear, anxiety, loneliness, depression, social distance affected our students, teachers, and parents. We have a famous saying in our school, and we totally rely on this statement. The happy and self-confident child learns more and better. I'm used to say that this is one of our success recipes. And we can say the same about the teachers. To learn, they must be self-confident and believe in themselves. Experts say that teaching and learning during school closure is unrealistic if social-emotional learning for students and educators is left out of the conversation. And we strongly agree. As I said, we have an ongoing comprehensive social-emotional learning project, and we are sure that the excellent results and success of our e-learning became possible by this approach. We usually think about the growth mindset importance for our students, but the same applies to the teachers. We must provide all the resources teachers need and create a loving and friendly environment for them to thrive and grow as professionals and human beings. Second, innovation. Innovation is about pedagogical practice, not technological tools. Innovation in education is a shift in mindset. Innovating means applying the new learning science discoveries in practice. We know now that students don't learn the same way. They have their own preferences, needs. Innovating is looking at each individual student to make sure we can meet their specific needs. Personalizing education is making sure you are developing skills more than teaching content, making sure the topics and projects you teach are relevant and connected to the reality. Innovative schools must create a whole ecosystem that helps students achieve their best. So, as the head of school, I make sure we have a warming and welcoming environment for our students, where they can flourish, develop their full potential and their future-ready skills. At the Escola Bosque, we are proud to say we give students opportunities to think, ask questions, discover things on their own, and collaborate. The third takeaway: teachers' readiness to use technology. Teachers' digital competence is key to successful virtual classes and for innovative pedagogical practices. They need to have good awareness of the social, emotional, and affective aspects of technology-based education and feel confident in their capacity to respond appropriately. They must understand the holistic approach to technology. It's not about just tools, apps, but how technology can bring people together, overcoming barriers of time and space. Fourth, creativity and collaboration. We saw how teachers reignited their creativity and passion for teaching to create engaging virtual classes worldwide, and we are so pleased to see our teachers' creativity. When teachers have digital competence and are free from technical issues, they can use their creativity to create engaging online classes. We must, as school leaders, give space and freedom to our teachers to take risks and learn from mistakes that for sure will happen. Collaboration is an important aspect, and engaging teachers and students in collaborative works bring many opportunities to them to learn and grow together. It's so important to give freedom to the students to share what they have learned in many ways, even in early ages. They love creating videos, podcasts, and presentations like TV news, and the results are always amazing. Collaborative projects foster empathy, respect, and are always an excellent way to develop the 21st century skills. The final takeaway: the power of data. When strategically used, big data and data analytics in education has the power to transform our institutions. Now, we are proud to share with you Mark Sparville's special message, reinforcing the importance of the social emotional learning and sharing some interesting finds. Mark is a director of marketing education at Microsoft, and it's an amazing social emotional learning advocate with many lectures, presentations, and a huge cell community on Facebook. We all must follow. Let's see the video. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sparville here. I'm an educator and a school leader with decades of experience, currently working for Microsoft Education, where I focus and lead our work around well-being with a focus on social and emotional learning. So how are you feeling today? Hopefully you're feeling recharged, energized, enthusiastic, maybe optimistic, probably exhausted. If we're not following one another already, my Twitter handle is at the bottom of the screen. You can track me down via email or join the community that I founded on Facebook, Selen Edu, which has over 13,500 people exchanging ideas on how do we best ensure that young people flourish and develop the skills that they need to navigate this period of complexity, ambiguity and change. We know that emotions matter. Microsoft undertook a survey across 3 countries in December of 2020, and one of the hopeful findings was that hope was on the horizon, that educators and students were starting to feel more optimistic, still cautious, but more optimistic about their journey through schooling as the pandemic continues to disrupt formal learning. We know that social and emotional learning has always been a priority. It's newly important for more people, foundational, not ornamental, to achieving success. And you can see that educators ranked and noted an increase in prioritization from 2020 to 2021. Let's be clear though, that the impact of 2020 on education systems across the globe, with around about 1.6 billion students having their formal education interrupted, will ripple out, if you like, for years to come, for the next 3 to 5 years. And students with highly developed emotional intelligence through social and emotional learning programs will better be able to navigate the challenges and the ambiguity and complexity. When we asked teachers, what did they need to know more about across 2020 to best prepare them for 2021 and beyond? It was interesting that teachers didn't call out numeracy and literacy. They said that they needed to understand more about the complexities faced by students inside and outside classrooms. 49% said they needed to better understand the emotional state of their students, and 48% said that they needed to understand what motivates their students more in order to be successful in both remote, face-to-face, and hybrid learning scenarios. The motivation piece was an interesting one because this ties back to what we know about the brain. The brain is built for stress. It doesn't mind stress in small doses. It helps to trigger a fight, flight, or fight response. But the brain hates feeling out of control. So anything that we can do in these complex and ambiguous times to give our learners a sense of control over themselves, over their emotions, over their workflow, over their time and schedules, helps to calm the brain. It's key that emotions are the gatekeeper. They're the gatekeeper to how we think and process information, those executive functions, our cognition. They're the gatekeeper, as I mentioned a moment ago, to motivation, where we choose to place our most limited resource. And they're the gatekeeper to attention, our focus. Now, in Microsoft, we have a number of products, and I'll leave a link for you, which can help educators to be able to support social and emotional learning as part of learning, not as a separate item to learning. Things like Mindful Night in Minecraft Education Edition, I think has been played now 650,000 times. About 37,000 users per month use Mindful Night to find out mindful practices, mindful breathing, mindful reflection, mindful listening, and so on. Reflect, built into Microsoft Teams, is a tool which allows you to track and measure subjective well-being and fold that with insights into other information you have about student achievement. Of course, things like the praise stickers and the social and emotional learning badges that are provided in Whiteboard, Teams and OneNote, and aligned to the Big Five model of character traits, are also freely available within Microsoft tools. So how do we learn social and emotional skills? These are my top 5. You need to develop an emotional vocabulary. As Mark Brackett from Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence would say, we have to name it to tame it. We need to help students build strategies and practice. This is where tools like Minecraft are really valuable. Observing and providing feedback are critical. This is where you might be using Flipgrid, you might be using OneNote, you might be using Teams. Providing opportunities to reflect and build skills, that's critical. So any opportunity that is a collaborative learning task is an opportunity to reflect, introduce, intentionally teach, and provide feedback on specific social and emotional skills. And importantly, make it personal, because emotions are the gatekeeper to learning, to cognition, and to motivation. So when we can use emojis, emoticons, when we can make things fun and relevant and purposeful, when we make it personal, then we help to create the conditions where students feel supported to do their best and be their best. You can get a whole bunch of other great ideas to support social and emotional learning in your classroom at the link below, aka.ms/cell. It's an easy one to remember. And I'm just going to leave on the Cell sticker page here. Thank you for everything that you do each and every day at A Scholar Basque to help prepare our young people to navigate, to be successful, and to be their best. Thank you.
Hello, now it's our Q&A session. Let's see how many questions do we have. Let's see. You mentioned that the Schola Bosque is an eco school. What does it mean? Good question. The Eco Schools is the largest global sustainable schools program. The main idea is to give students the opportunity to be protagonists. We must address three major aspects: water, clean energy, and residues. We have a committee with students, teachers, and other schools employees like maintenance, administration. And with the students, we must create an action plan and achieve the 7 steps framework. We develop pupil skills. We raise environmental awareness. Students must review their learning environment and bring real solutions and inspiration. After that, they must create a master plan to achieve the goals, like campaigns to save water and energy. It begins in the classroom and expands to the community. And many STEM projects are based on these premises. We have another question about data analytics. You said that data analytics is an important aspect for schools. Why? I can say that we can list some benefits of using data analytic tools. We can create a data-driven decision-making culture. With data analytics, there is no need to rely on blind faith when making decisions. We can have numbers and statistics to back up our decisions, which can lead to more successful outcomes. We can find information more quickly, because since our data lives in one place, there is no need to search through dozens of files and folders to find a report or anything we are looking for. It makes the process much quicker. Data analytics is an important resource for school leaders and administrators. And in remote learning is crucial. We can create many indicators to help us make better decisions. We have one more question. Let's see. How your social and emotional project is related with the education for sustainable development. I like this one. We develop in our students self-awareness. And to take care of the world, we must start taking care of ourselves, understanding and recognizing our emotions. From there, we can establish a healthy relationship with others, respecting the differences and raising cultural awareness. I believe that from there, we are ready to take care of the world. Another one. Why do you consider Escola Bosque innovative? What does it mean? Innovative schools must create a whole ecosystem that helps students achieve their best. Also, teachers play a key role in schools' transformation. For sure, the best way to change the school and bring innovation is to give teachers the support they need to grow. School leaders must provide them with resources they need and empower them. It's no different than what we do with the students. We must help teachers to have a growth-oriented mindset, giving them space and freedom to lead their way in teaching. And because technology is present in most things we do, teachers must be familiar with it. We have a regular workshops and courses agenda focused on educational technology. We also encourage them to subscribe to educational communities for courses, resources. We make professional development personalized to each teacher. And another important aspect of a successful digital transformation, in my opinion, is to work with partners. Because internally we don't have sometimes times or skills to do everything. Partners can be a great support. We have our own PLC, Professional Learning Community partner, that it's Big Brain Education, and the results are also excellent. It's really rewarding to see teachers' motivation and how they are proud of every achievement. And we are so proud of them as well. We also have a great partnership with EduInfo, which help us with our learning environments. And as we get more digital, we get more flexible. And we are changing our learning environments where we can apply these modern pedagogical practices. I mentioned it before. So I think we don't have any more questions. Again, I want to thank all of you for watching our presentation. As you can see, we have many things to celebrate. Thank you very much.
Join Time Magazine's lead education reporter alongside global educators and advocates to explore the impacts of teaching forgiveness.
I teach forgiveness because it can have a positive impact in my students' families.
It helps my students thrive in the face of adversity.
Students who can forgive are happier.
Join us to hear from teachers and thought leaders on how and why to include forgiveness in your classroom.
temperature rise will bring widespread devastation and unprecedented extreme weather.
New coronavirus cases emerge across the country.
Obesity rates have more than doubled in kids.
Cape Town is running out of water.